Welcome, everyone, to our deep dive into concentration.
Oh, an intriguing subject for sure.
And I bet you're here because you're hoping to sharpen your own focus.
That's usually the case, right?
Well, today we're going to look closely at Cam Knight's book on concentration.
Excellent resource.
But we're not just after those quick fixes.
No.
We're going on a journey here to understand how our minds work
Exactly.
and how they impact our ability to truly concentrate.
You know, one of the things I find most interesting about this whole concentration thing is that it challenges our assumptions.
Oh, like what?
Well, we often think of it as this special skill some folks have.
Right. Some people are good at it and some aren't.
But as Knight points out,
Okay.
we're actually concentrating all the time, even when we seem totally disengaged.
It's so true. Think about scrolling through social media or watching a movie or even just daydreaming.
Oh, require focus.
They all need concentration.
The trick is...
Consciously directing it right to where we want it to go.
Precisely.
Knight's book does a great job breaking down these factors.
It really does.
The things that capture our attention naturally.
Right.
Things like novelty,
Of course.
potential threats,
Same here.
or even what others are doing.
The power of the crowd.
Exactly what he calls social proof.
You know, these tendencies actually have deep roots
Oh, really?
in our evolutionary past.
Our ancestors.
Our brains prioritize survival.
Makes sense.
So anything that signals danger or pleasure or even social acceptance,
We're drawn to it.
it grabs our attention immediately.
It's not just about willpower then.
It's much deeper than that.
It's understanding those forces
At play.
in our subconscious.
Driving us.
So we shouldn't beat ourselves up for getting distracted.
Yeah, not at all.
It's more about recognizing these mechanisms,
Absolutely.
these innate mechanisms that are part of us.
Now, speaking of inner workings,
Yes.
Knight paints this vivid picture
Okay.
of what he calls the internal battlefield.
Oh, the battlefield of our attention.
For our attention.
And he breaks it down.
Yeah.
3 key elements.
Verbal thoughts,
Okay.
mental images,
Yeah.
and physical sensations.
Our senses.
These are constantly vying,
Competing for our awareness.
trying to grab our attention.
Exactly. And these elements are all interwoven,
Connected.
influencing our thoughts, emotions, and actions.
It's a complex system.
Knight uses this brilliant
Array
analogy
of analogies.
of an overstuffed drawer
Oh, I can relate to that.
to describe our awareness.
Our minds get so full.
Just like a drawer overflowing.
Correct.
Our minds have a limited capacity.
We can only handle so much.
When it's overwhelmed with thoughts and
Yeah,
feelings,
when it's all clutter.
our focus plummets.
They can't concentrate on anything.
It all becomes noise. So how do we declutter this mental space?
How do we get rid of the noise?
Well, Knight suggests some interesting exercises.
Okay.
One is to simply acknowledge those distractions.
Without engaging them.
Just let them flow by. Like clouds.
It's exactly like that imagery. Another exercise is to actively clear them out.
As they arise.
Like tidying up a room.
Oh, so decluttering our minds like we would a physical space.
And maybe the most fascinating one.
Okay, tell me.
Observing our thoughts with detachment.
With detachment.
Like watching a movie.
That sounds tough.
These exercises seem simple,
They do.
but they require practice.
Anything worthwhile does right.
It's like building muscle.
Oh, I see the analogy.
It takes effort and time.
But the payoff can be huge.
Imagine silencing that mental chatter.
Being present in conversations.
Resisting those urges.
Those impulses that derail our focus.
It's mental training.
like a mental gym.
For the mind.
I like that.
And another technique Knight brings up
Oh, tell me more.
is retrieval.
Retrieval.
It's not just for memory.
What else is it for?
It trains the mind
To do what?
to pay better attention now.
In the present.
The idea is to mentally review the day's events.
Replay them in our minds.
It's like taking a mental snapshot.
I try to do that sometimes before bed.
It actually enhances our concentration.
Wait, really? Just by reviewing the day.
It's like we're quizzing ourselves.
Our brains think there's a test later.
They become more attentive to details.
So I better remember this because I might be asked about it later.
Exactly. It's like an internal accountability partner.
Wow, that's fascinating.
It's not just about absorbing information
No, it's
passively.
more active.
It's pushing our limits.
Our concentration limits.
Knight has a whole section on extending that comfort zone.
When it comes to focus.
It's not about enduring suffering.
No one wants that.
It's about breaking free from those habits.
The habits of giving up.
When things get tough.
I know I do that sometimes.
How often do we switch tasks or check our phones?
Or just zone out.
When things get difficult,
or boring,
by pushing those boundaries,
doing a little bit more.
we build mental endurance.
And that translates to other areas of life.
It's like training for a marathon,
Mental marathon.
building those mental muscles.
So we don't give up easily.
In any area of life.
It's about resilience.
And this brings us to a surprising connection.
Oh, a connection to what?
Impulse control is concentration in disguise.
That's interesting. I never thought of it that way.
Knight talks about resisting urges.
Okay.
Things like gossip
Or online distractions.
or those sudden shopping impulses.
I've all been there.
He ties these struggles to concentration,
That's all connected.
and he emphasizes the physical part of this.
Oh, the physical part of concentration.
Resisting an urge creates discomfort
A tension we feel.
when we try to hold back.
I know that feeling.
Mastering this discomfort
So not giving in.
builds self-awareness
And control.
it goes beyond resisting dessert.
It's deeper than that.
It's navigating emotion,
Making conscious decisions.
shaping our lives with intention.
Wow, that's powerful.
It's recognizing that we have a choice.
We're not just puppets.
We're not at the mercy of our impulses.
But what about when we need focus quickly?
Like right now.
Knight has some in-the-moment tools.
Oh, those are helpful.
He talks about using breath work,
To regulate our state.
like calming down,
Posing specific questions to guide our attention.
asking ourselves the right questions,
Setting clear goals to activate our motivation.
so we know why we're doing this.
And using to-do lists to streamline our mental energy.
To stay organized.
Each of these techniques has a psychological principle behind it.
Oh, like what?
For instance, controlling our breath
Like deep breaths.
triggers the parasympathetic nervous system.
That's the calming one, right?
It creates a perfect environment for focus.
Like setting the stage.
And asking ourselves pointed questions
Being inquisitive.
activates problem-solving circuits.
Our brains start working.
It naturally draws our attention to the task.
That's pretty neat.
It's
Yeah.
like hacking our mental operating system.
Like a mental shortcut.
Exactly. And let's not forget the impact of our environment.
Our surroundings.
Knight talks about optimizing our surroundings
Our workspace.
for better concentration.
Things like lighting and color.
Even scent and space.
All of that affects our focus.
It's amazing how often we overlook this.
We just don't think about it.
Have you ever noticed how certain environments
Certain places.
drain your energy and focus?
Oh, absolutely.
The opposite is also true.
So a good environment can boost focus,
By designing our workspaces consciously,
making them better.
incorporating elements that promote peace,
Calming colors.
natural elements,
Optimal lighting.
not too bright, not too dim,
We create an atmosphere for peak performance.
it primes our minds.
Our environment becomes a silent partner, nudging us towards flow.
That state of effortless concentration.
We've covered a lot from Knight's book today.
And from your other research,
Let's summarize this into 10 key points.
a great idea for our listeners to take away,
A 10-point summary.
to distill the essence of this deep dive.
Okay, so number 1,
Remember, you're already concentrating.
more than you think.
The key is to direct that ability.
Number 2,
Acknowledge those things that grab your attention.
fun, threats, novelty, social influence.
It's all thanks to evolution.
Number 3,
Your thoughts, images, and feelings are competing for attention.
that overstuffed drawer feeling.
Number 4,
Taming those distractions takes practice.
like rehab for your mental muscles. Number 5,
Retrieval is a powerful tool.
mentally reviewing events strengthens your present moment focus.
Number 6,
Push your limits in any activity.
build that endurance for focused work.
Number 7,
Impulse control is concentration in action.
resisting urges leads to self-awareness and control.
Number 8,
Use in-the-moment tools to hack your state.
things like breath work, questions, goals, and to-do lists.
Number 9,
Optimize your environment.
light, color, scent, and space can all help.
And number 10,
Personalize these techniques.
experiment to find what works for you
These 10 points provide a solid framework.
for building stronger concentration.
But before we wrap up,
I'd like to leave everyone with a question. If our external surroundings can impact our focus so much,
really make a difference.
what other hidden factors
Things we don't even consider
might be at play?
affecting our concentration.
Could it be our diet,
What we eat,
the quality of our relationships,
our social connection,
our beliefs about ourselves,
our self-image.
or even just how much sleep we get?
Sleep is crucial.
It's a lot to think about.
This question highlights something important.
About concentration.
Improving our concentration
Is a continuous journey.
an ongoing process.
It's not about reaching a destination,
No magic bullet.
but the insights from Knight's work.
And the other resources we've discussed?
give us a great place to start.
A foundation to build upon.
We've learned that concentration isn't
Special talent?
some people have and some don't.
It's an ability.
We all have it.
With the right tools,
An understanding
we can harness its power.
to change our lives
You're already concentrating.
more than you realize.
The challenge lies in
Correcting it
understanding those forces that shape it,
and making conscious choices.
about where we invest our attention.
And don't get discouraged.
If it feels tough,
At first,
it's like training any muscle.
it takes
Effort.
and patience.
But the rewards,
Increased productivity.
feeling more present
Greater control.
over your own mind.
So approach this journey
With curiosity.
a spirit of experimentation,
And most importantly,
playfulness,
enjoy the process.
of understanding your own mind
That wraps up our deep dive.
into the world of concentration.
We hope you found it.
As fascinating as we did.
Until next time,
Stay curious
stay focused.
and keep diving deep.